When graduate student Matt Mantrell recites a seemingly innocuous piece of poetry, he finds himself unexpectedly transported to a mystical realm where magic is real, and medieval rules of chivalry are in full force. In this enchanting world, Matt must use his wits and newly discovered magical abilities to rescue the imperiled Princess Alessandra from sinister forces. Along the way, he encounters a diverse cast of characters, including a wisecracking talking dragon and a bumbling yet lovable knight. Her Majesty's Wizard is a thrilling adventure filled with humor, magic, and heart, perfect for fans of fantasy and epic quests.
Matt watched him shoulder his way out of the coffee shop. Paul was right, from the hard-headed, practical point of view. But Matt knew he was too. He just couldn't substantiate it. He sighed and pulled out his silver ballpoint pen to have another try at playing acrostics with the speech sounds in his manuscript. He looked down at the parchment, and everything else dropped from his mind. He felt, illogically, that if he just stared at the black brushstrokes, just repeated those alien phonemes again and again, they'd start making sense. Ridiculous, of course. He had to reason it out, starting with the root words and locating their place in the family of human languages. He caught himself repeating the syllables again and stared at the blank notebook page beside him. Start with root words. La linga, the first word of all. Well, lingua was Latin for tongue or language, and la was the feminine article in the Romance languages. But the next words didn't seem to fit the pattern. La linga wogros marwold rigor. He leaned back, taking a very deep breath. He'd slipped into it again, chanting the meaningless symbols. No, not meaningless. They would make sense, he was sure of it. If he could just find the key. Dangerous. Some remote monitoring part of his mind jibed. Very dangerous. That way lie dragons, and insanity. Matt buried his face in his hands, thumbs massaging his temple. Maybe Paul was right. He had been working this over too long. Maybe he should just drop it. But not without one more try. He sat up straight again and took a firmer grip on the pen. Now, one more time. La linga wogros marwold rigor athelstrigan marx alupta harling crimorg barlow stigor. Pull back, the remote part of his mind warned. You're in too deep. You'll never get out. But Matt couldn't let go. Underneath it all, somehow, the weird words were beginning to make sense. He head filled with roaring, and beneath it, like a harmonic, the noise seemed to modulate into words. Born without your proper grace. The whole room seemed to be darkening, with only the scrap of parchment lighted. And even there, the runes were writhing, blurring, starting to run together. To a world befouled and base, feel your proper form and case, recognize your homeland's face. The page darkened, left him enveloped in a formless, lightless limbo. He lurched to his feet, then sagged against the wall, squeezing the hard, cool cylinder of the silver pen like a talisman, but the words thundered on in his head. Cross the void of time and space, seek and find your proper place. Worlds whirled, suns swerved across limbo, wheeling him about like a dervish. Nausea struck as the floor swung out from under his feet. His knees tried to give. Matt clutched at a beam in the wall, holding himself up, trying to force his eyes open.
Her Majesty's Wizard by Christopher Stasheff was first published on January 1st, 1986 by Ballantine Books. The book is available in various formats including hardcover, paperback, and Kindle edition. It is the first book in the A Wizard in Rhyme series and has a print length of 343 pages. Her Majesty's Wizard offers a thrilling and enchanting adventure into a world where magic and medieval chivalry come alive. The blend of humor, heart, and a diverse cast of characters, including a talking dragon and a charming princess, makes for a captivating read. Fantasy lovers and fans of epic quests will find themselves drawn into this delightful and imaginative tale, perfect for escapism and entertainment. Now let's see what the Deep Dive crew has to say about Her Majesty's Wizard.
Buckle up, folks, for a deep dive into a world of magic, unlikely heroes, and a dragon with a soft spot for good wine. Today, we're taking a spoiler-free look. Spoiler-free look! Right, a spoiler-free look at Her Majesty's Wizard, the first book in Christopher Stasheff's beloved Warlock series. It's a delightful series, a blend of humor and fantasy and a touch of sci-fi, even. Yeah, it's not your typical medieval fantasy. It's something much more unique. Unique, yeah. It's like stepping into an alternate universe where magic isn't just a myth. Right. It's part of everyday life. And our hero, Matt, He's a grad student.
Oh, grad student.
Yeah, researching an ancient manuscript when he's suddenly transported to this world.
It's a great way to introduce the reader to this fantastical setting, through Matt's bewildered eye.
And his reactions are hilarious. I mean, who wouldn't be flustered by a talking dragon who complains about his dental hygiene?
Ah, yes, Stegerman. He's more than just comic relief, though.
Right.
He embodies the series' unique blend of humor and depth. He's a grumpy, wine-loving dragon who's been exiled for, get this, drunk flying.
Grounded for drunk flying. I love it. But beyond the humor, he's a wise and loyal friend to Matt, offering guidance and a unique perspective on this world's dragon lore.
Dragons are deeply ingrained in this society. They have their own laws, customs, and a history intertwined with humanity's. Stegoman's exile, humorous as it is, sheds light on these intricate dragon laws.
It's not all fun and games, though. Matt finds himself caught in the conflict between a rightful princess trying to reclaim her throne and a power-hungry king with a sinister sorcerer at his side.
Oh,
Yeah.
The political intrigue adds another layer to the story. Princess Alisande is a strong, capable woman who subverts the typical damsel in distress trope. Her fight for the throne unveils the power dynamics within the kingdom, the interplay between the king, the sorcerer, and the rebellious barons.
So we've got Matt the skeptical wizard, Stegoman the exiled dragon, and Alisande the warrior princess. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, for starters, Matt has to figure out how to use magic, and he's pretty much winging it. Imagine a grad student suddenly having to conjure clothing for a princess battle, a lust witch, and face down a werewolf who, as it turns out, is just a priest with a rather unfortunate curse.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
And through these challenges, we see the magic system unfold. It's not about chanting spells or waving wands. It's about understanding the forces of the universe and manipulating them through language and will.
It's a unique approach to magic that Stasheff cleverly weaves into the narrative. Matt's background as a scholar and linguist makes him uniquely suited to tap into this power.
But of course, with great power comes great responsibility. And Matt quickly learns that magic can have unintended consequences. And that's just the beginning. His journey takes him to a place called Hell, and it's not your typical fire and brimstone.
This hell is more about confronting internal struggles and fears. It forces Matt to examine his own beliefs and grapple with the nature of good and evil.
It's a turning point for him, really pushing him to face his deepest anxieties.
The hell sequence is symbolic of Matt's journey of self-discovery. It challenges him to confront his doubts and insecurities and ultimately leads him to a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him.
It's those layers of meaning that make this book so much more than a simple fantasy adventure. And then there's the siege of the Montarian Monastery, a safe haven for those opposing the evil king and sorcerer.
Oh, the monastery.
Yeah.
It comes under attack by a variety of creatures, symbolizing the growing power of the sorcerer and raising the stakes of the conflict. It's a desperate fight for survival, pushing Matt and his companions to their limits.
And it all culminates in a final confrontation between the forces of good and evil. It's a whirlwind of action with unexpected twists and turns, and a resurrected giant named Ballspear playing a pivotal role.
The final battle is a spectacle, showcasing the full range of magic and highlighting the sacrifices made by those fighting for freedom.
But it's not just about the spectacle. It's about the choices characters make and the consequences they face.
This battle underscores Stasheff's recurring theme of free will versus destiny. The characters' actions have repercussions that ripple throughout the story, reminding us that even in a world of magic, choices have profound consequences.
It's a battle that will leave you on the edge of your seat, and believe me, the resolution is worth the wait. But we'll delve into that more in the next part of our deep dive.
We don't want to spoil all the fun, but we can assure you that Her Majesty's Wizard offers a satisfying conclusion to this part of Matt's adventure, leaving you eager to discover what awaits him and the rest of the series.
Exactly. One of the things I've really enjoyed about Her Majesty's Wizard is how Stasheff fleshes out the characters. They're not just cardboard cutouts, they feel like real people with flaws and complexities.
Absolutely. Like, take Matt, for instance. He's not your typical all-powerful know-it-all wizard.
He's constantly learning, making mistakes, and questioning himself.
Yeah, he's relatable. He's thrust into this extraordinary situation and has to figure things out as he goes along.
Like we would.
Much like we would if we suddenly found ourselves in a world of magic.
Exactly. He relies more on his wits and knowledge from our world than on any inherent magical ability. And his journey is about so much more than just mastering spells. It's about self-discovery, facing his fears, and embracing his role in this new world.
Yeah, I was particularly intrigued by his relationship with Princess Alisande. She's not just a damsel in distress waiting for a knight in shining armor to rescue her.
No, not at all. She's a force to be reckoned with, strong-willed, intelligent, and capable with both a sword and courtly etiquette.
Oh yeah.
Her fight for the throne isn't just about reclaiming her birthright, it's about fighting for justice and the well-being of her people. Their alliance is a fascinating dynamic. It's not love at first sight or a typical hero saves princess scenario. They respect each other's strengths, challenge each other's perspectives, and ultimately work together towards a common goal.
It really highlights the book's subversion of traditional fantasy tropes. Stasheff presents us with complex characters who defy easy categorization.
And then there's the villain of the story, Malengo the Sorcerer.
Oh, Malengo.
He's power-hungry and ruthless, but there's a depth to him that goes beyond simple evil.
I think his thirst for power stems from a desire to control the forces of chaos that he believes govern the universe. He sees himself as a protector, someone who can bring order to a world he perceives as inherently unpredictable and dangerous.
It's a fascinating perspective, isn't it? He's not just driven by greed or malice. He genuinely believes he's doing what's best, even if his methods are morally questionable.
It really makes you question whether good intentions can justify morally gray actions.
And let's not forget Saisa the Sorceress, who initially seems aligned with Malengo. Her motivations are far more complex than they appear at first glance.
She's a tragic figure, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a longing for love and recognition. Her story explores themes of betrayal, heartbreak, and the consequences of making deals with dark forces.
Yeah. Her character arc adds another layer of depth to the narrative, reminding us that even those who seem like villains can have relatable human motivations.
It's a testament to Stasheff's skill as a writer, that he can make us empathize with characters who are capable of both great acts of love and terrible acts of cruelty.
And of course, no discussion of Her Majesty's Wizard would be complete without mentioning the witty and engaging dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue.
The conversations between the characters, particularly between Matt and Stegeman, are filled with humor, wit, and philosophical insights. Stasheff uses their banter to explore complex ideas about magic science and the nature of reality without ever becoming preachy or overly academic.
It's like listening in on a conversation between two incredibly intelligent and amusing friends. You learn something new while being thoroughly entertained at the same time.
The humor never feels forced. It arises organically from the characters' personalities and their interactions. It's a key ingredient in making the book such a delightful read. I think it's also worth highlighting Stasheff's clever use of language. The way he describes the world, the magic, and the characters' thoughts and feelings is truly captivating.
He has a way with words that paints vivid pictures in your mind and brings the story to life. He seamlessly blends fantasy and sci-fi elements, creating a world that feels both familiar and utterly unique.
It's a testament to his skill as a world builder that he can create such a believable and immersive setting.
And he doesn't shy away from tackling weighty themes like free will versus destiny, the nature of good and evil, and the responsibility that comes with power.
But he does it in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking, weaving these themes seamlessly into the narrative without ever bogging it down with philosophical lectures.
It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished reading it, prompting you to reflect on the characters' choices and contemplate the larger questions they grapple with.
Now, for those who might be hesitant to dive into a fantasy series, Her Majesty's Wizard offers a perfect entry point.
Oh, Dad!
It's a standalone story with a satisfying conclusion, yet it also leaves you wanting more.
It's the beginning of Matt's adventures, and each subsequent book builds upon the foundation laid in this first installment. We see him grow as a wizard, deepen his relationships, and face even greater challenges.
And of course, Stegeman continues to be a source of both comic relief and profound wisdom.
So if you're looking for a fun, thought-provoking, and ultimately heartwarming read, Her Majesty's Wizard is an excellent choice. And if you find yourself captivated by Matt and Stegeman's world, the entire Warlock series awaits you.
We highly recommend giving it a try. And be sure to come back for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll discuss the broader themes and lasting impact of the Warlock series. Welcome back to our deep dive into Her Majesty's Wizard. We've talked about the plot, the characters, the humor, the action. But for me, what's really fascinating about this book, and the Warlock series in general, are the deeper themes that Stasheff explores.
Yeah, there's a lot going on beneath the surface of this lighthearted fantasy adventure. You know, a thoughtful exploration of some really profound concepts. Like, one of the most prominent themes is the power of language. And Matt, as a linguist, is uniquely attuned to this power.
Oh, absolutely.
He discovers that words can be just as potent as any spell or magical artifact.
It's like he's constantly decoding the world around him.
Right.
Finding the right words to unlock hidden meanings and manipulate the very fabric of reality.
Exactly. And this theme resonates on multiple levels. On a literal level, Matt uses his knowledge of language to understand and control magic, but on a symbolic level, it speaks to the power of communication, understanding, and even self-expression.
You know, the way we use language shapes our thoughts, our relationships, even our perception of the world. It's a really powerful message woven subtly into the fabric of the story.
Another recurring theme is the idea of free will versus destiny. Throughout the book, characters are faced with choices that have far-reaching consequences.
Oh, yeah.
We see how their decisions shape their own fates and the fate of the kingdom.
It makes you wonder, if everything's predetermined or if we truly have the power to carve our own paths.
It's a great question, and Stasheff doesn't offer easy answers. He presents us with a world where both free will and destiny seem to be at play, urging us to contemplate the complexities of choice and consequence.
And then there's that classic battle between good and evil. But even that's not as black and white as it seems.
No, not at all. Stasheff challenges our assumptions about what constitutes good and evil. We see characters who initially seem villainous reveal surprising depths of compassion. And on the flip side, those who appear heroic make morally questionable choices.
Right. It reminds us that the lines between good and evil are often blurred, and that even the best intentions can lead to unintended consequences.
It's a nuanced exploration of morality that avoids simplistic judgments and encourages us to consider multiple perspectives.
So Her Majesty's Wizard is a book that invites you to think, to question, and to explore. It's a fun escapist read on the surface, but it also offers layers of meaning that resonate long after you've finished the last page.
And that's what makes it a classic. A story that continues to captivate readers decades after its publication. It's a testament to Stasheff's skill as a storyteller, that he can blend humor, action, and thought-provoking themes so seamlessly.
If you're looking for a book that will transport you to another world, make you laugh, and leave you pondering the big questions, I highly recommend picking up Her Majesty's Wizard and embarking on this enchanting journey with Matt and Stegelman. And if you're already a fan, maybe this deep dive has given you a new perspective on this beloved classic. Be sure to subscribe to learn more about classic fantasy and sci-fi books. Till next time.